On October the 15th, 2020, the long wait for the third season of Star Trek Discovery will finally be over. Many of the questions that have been burning in our minds for over a year may finally be answered, and in the true spirit of TV nowadays, they're gonna throw some more questions at us. But before all of that, with the trailers we have been given, we can see that the show is in for a huge change in environment around it, along with the Trek franchise as a whole. A lot's going to happen, so here we have compiled a list of the 10 biggest things we are dying to see in the third season of Disco. I am Marcus Bronzy, this is Trek Culture, and these are 10 things we are most excited to see in Discovery Season 3. That rhymes. Number 10, The Burn. In the trailer for Season 3 that was released during Star Trek Day, Book, played by David Ajala, speaks about the burn, the day that the galaxy took a hard left turn. Yeah, I'm rhyming the ish out of this today. Michelle Paradise then clarified that because of this, the Federation has dwindled in size and is operating very much on survival mode. This tracks what we've seen throughout the history of Star Trek. Between the era of Archer and the latter days of Star Trek Picard, Starfleet has changed immeasurably, growing from a smaller exploration force to a vast empire. We know that the supernova of the Romulan star has greatly affected the balance of power in the quadrant by the 2390s. Now, with almost 1,000 years between these stories, is the burn simply an extension of this or another disaster altogether? Number 9. Star Trek history in context. We know that the burn takes place in between the years of Star Trek Picard and the third season of Discovery, though as yet we're unsure as to what exactly this means. So what we need then is a history lesson offered by what is left of the Federation. I mean, what exactly happened since Discovery vanished? Let us not forget though that we as an audience, we're the ones that know what actually happened during the years of Kirk, Picard, Sisko and Catherine Energized Janeway. The crew of the Discovery have never heard of these people before, so there are yet to be Easter eggs aplenty. Number 8. Legacy races. We know from the trailers that we'll see Andorians along with Cardassians, along with at least one Lurian. Or is that just going to be Morn? And if it is, will he get some dialogue? But what of the Romulans, the Klingons, the Vulcans and the rest? What's happening in the various empires and alliances throughout the galaxy? So many questions stem from this. Are the Federation and the Klingon Empire still allied in the future? Are the Romulans, with nearly 1,000 years to rebuild their empire after their nova, where are they now? What has the Tal Shiar been up to after being driven away by our good old Captain Riker? And my personal favourite, all the Klingons, will their look be brought more in line with the TNG Warfarer, or are we still going to be looking at these? I don't know what to say about them. Anyway, there's a lot of room to play with here, with a lot of new first contacts to enjoy through the eyes of Discovery. Number 7, the Trill. What we do know is that Ian Alexander is Star Trek's first openly transgender actor. He'll be playing Grey, a Trill who is dreaming of becoming joined with a symbiont. Through Grey's eyes, we could see much of the history of what has come in the intervening years. If Grey manages to pick up a symbiont with a name like, I don't know, something that rhymes with wax, then there is much that the writers can do with that. There's also a fantastic opportunity to help the crew of the Discovery get to know the time which they now exist in through the eyes of somebody who is Federation oriented. Number 6, new faces. David Ajala is joining the Star Trek Discovery crew as the character Cleveland Book. Whilst we know that his favourite scarf is cat-shaped, much about this character remains a mystery. We do know from the trailer that he is going to have some form of relationship with Burnham. He also seems to be a believer in Starfleet and the Federation, though he does call the comm badge on her chest proof that she believes in ghosts. Like I said, also joining the show will be Ian Alexander, who will be playing Dax. Okay, I totally made that up. I'm going to spread that rumour. Let it fly. You spread it too. Blue Del Barrio will be playing Star Trek's first non-binary character, Adira. Number 5, Calypso. Remember the short Trek, you know, the little episodes that they had between the main series? Calypso, well, that episode was a standout moment for Star Trek Discovery. Coming on the heels of the show's first season, it actually teased us with a little bit of what we vaguely know about the third season, with the ship in it being lost in a nebula 1,000 years in the future. Now what this told us is that at some point the crew are going to need to abandon the Discovery and it will be discovered by Aldous Hodges' craft. He developed a relationship with Discovery's main computer, who in the future at this point is named Zora. And it's a beautiful story of a man and a machine told in a tight 15-minute window. Calypso is still one of the most fascinating moments in Discovery to date personally. Even with the ship being hurtled into the future, there is so much mystery in this tale. What's happening? When is it happening? And what is Craft's relationship to the greater story of Discovery? And where the heck are the crew? This is a mystery that I like, and let's hope that they shed some light in the season of Discovery. Number 4, Old Faces. Kenneth Mitchell, who is chasing the crown for most guest star appearances in Trek, and he's doing alright, is returning to Discovery in Season 3. Fans may not recognise him though, as he previously played exclusively Klingon characters. I mean, in the first season he played Klingon Cole, then he played Cole's father, Coleshaw, and the child of Laurel and Tyler, Tenavik. Now, in the third season, he'll be playing a human character, ditching the heavy makeup and allowing audiences to finally see what he looks like for real. Mitchell recently revealed that he has been battling ALS, which has now confined him to a wheelchair. Despite this, he has been continuing to add to the Star Trek mythos, and we are very excited to see him return to our screens. Salute, sir. Number 3, what is Georgiou doing in the future? Georgiou, Philippa. Well, she went from an emperor of a vast interstellar power, to a fish out of water, to an agent to Section 31, and if that isn't enough, she finds herself trapped in the future where she has no idea what is going on. I mean, we see her in the trailer saying she's gonna have words with Jake Weber, who is joining the show after stints on Homeland and 13 Reasons Why. Now, if the man says anything other than yes boss to her after that declaration, then he has a serious lack of understanding of the Georgiou that is Philippa. The softening, relatively, of her character during the second season has made her a far more endearing character to the audiences. But don't forget, she's got an ego the size of a supernova. She's ready to take on the first person that gets in her way, and her ability to turn heel at any point, well, it's going to be exciting for us as viewers, because you know what the saying is, never turn your back on the Terran. And also there's the light thing, but they're a little bit, you know, continuity is a bit off because there's some bright seasons in season 2 and Lorca's all like looking into the light. And anyway, number 2, Captain Saroon. Now let's be real, has any other character with the exception of Sisko earned their stripes on screen more than this Kelpian? Saru has led the crew on board the Discovery through some of the most calamitous events that have ever faced a starship in the fleet, and subsequently, he's grown immeasurably. From when we first meet this fear ganglia dangling slightly petty Saru aboard the USS Shenzhou, I mean, through to his rise to command, Saru has been one of, if not the most engaging characters in the show to date. There's no better man to lead the USS Discovery, except for when Pike takes over, into the future and into the unknown. We are ready for this. Number 1, what does the Federation look like now? We know that the Federation is greatly reduced in size from what we learned during the Star Trek Day panel, but what exactly will it look like in Discovery Season 3? For example, which planets are still there and which have gone? We can see that there's a lot of wreckage still floating out there in space, but how much of this comes from Federation vessels, and what has the Federation itself become? By the beginning of Star Trek Picard, we know that they have become something of a conservative organisation, preferring to consolidate their position with their existing members rather than expand another huge force to help their former enemies. Just how far down this rabbit hole does the Federation slip into?
Whoa, stop the press. We have news, breaking news. Marcus, I'm gonna let you finish down that rabbit hole, but the episode titles for Discovery Season 3 have been released, and we have Unification Part 3. Really wish I'd known that before I wrote the article. Anyway, as we know, Unifications 1 and 2 both came in Star Trek The Next Generation. It's when Ambassador Spock went off to Romulus. He had some fun, he made some friends, he lost some friends, Pardek, and, you know, good time was had by all. So, with Unification Part 3, is this going to be Burnham finding out the legacy of her half-brother, her adopted brother, her Spock brother, you know, finding out what happened to Romulus, which will also possibly tie into Star Trek Picard. Very, very excited to see what's going to go on here and what this means for the franchise. Marcus, you're a star. I'll leave it back to you. Live long and prosper.
We are now in this unique position in the franchise's history where we have one show set almost 1,000 years in the future, but 2 further ongoing shows that are set within 30 years of each other, almost 700 years before Discovery. There will need to be a balance in how the Federation is portrayed during this time, whilst teasing the upcoming burn. So there you go, things we are most excited to see in Discovery Season 3. What a time to be a Trekkie, eh? We are lucky. Anyway, if you've got anything to add to this, let us know in the comments, and also follow us on Twitter at Trek Culture. You can check me out on Twitter too at Marcus Bronzy, that's MarcusBronzy, or my podcast, which is called How to Kill an Hour, wherever you listen to those. In the meantime, LLAP.
Hello there everybody, Trek Culture's Adam Cleary here, just to hold my hands up really quickly and say, I've tried my best to replicate, duplicate, just outright clone our god editor Chris Thompson here, and I have failed. It's been absolutely disastrous. An affront to God, somebody called one of the efforts, so do you know what? I give up. We're just going to have to hire a new video editor here at Trek Culture. And if you've been sitting at home watching this glorious channel thinking, I could do that, well, then prove it. Sunshine, there is an email address on the screen right now. If you're interested in becoming part of the team, we want to see your show reels, we want to see your CVs, we want to hear what you can bring to this channel. And if you're good enough and we like you, maybe we'll get in touch and you too could be editing out the numerous mistakes I make in every single video. So yes, email address on screen now, CV, showreels, etc. Join us here on Trek Culture to boldly, I don't know, fix it in the edit. Goodbye.